Good evening, Northville. My name is Ray Manier, and welcome to Northville City News. News just came in that many people who participated in a community remodeling project in the local community center and senior citizen center have been experiencing severe asphyxiation and skin and eye irritation. There have been some cases where professional painters and regular citizens have been diagnosed with central nervous system intoxication and mild depression. Medical experts reckon that the recent events are due to excessive exposure to the chemical toluene. For those who do not know, toluene is a toxin that is used to dissolve organic compounds. It can be used in the production of benzene and is added to gasoline along with benzene and xylene in order to improve octane ratings. However, toluene is mainly known for being heavily incorporated into paint products, adhesives such as glue, and fingernail/floor/furniture polishing products. Toluene's vapor has a very distinctive smell, and it's a sign of exposure, and it's what gives paint its special sweet smell. Since there was a huge amount of painting and gluing involved in the community remodeling project, doctors find that it was reasonable to assume that toluene exposure might be the most probable cause for this recent outbreak of symptoms. Due to its prevalence in painting products, we strongly advise all citizens who work with painting products to wear masks to minimize inhalation of toluene. Now we are going to direct you to our leading chemist and medical expert, Tasha Nalumansi.
Thanks, Ray. Toluene is known as methylbenzene. It is classified as a volatile organic compound because it's readily evaporable from soil or water to the air. It is also classified as a hazardous air pollutant because it can have serious ill effects on humans when it is inhaled. Its structure is C7H8, which makes it a hydrocarbon.
Thanks for the info, Tasha. There are many ways that toluene can be introduced into the environment. For example, toluene can enter surface waters and wells after being exposed from a petroleum product spill, and there can be leaks from underground storage tanks in areas such as gasoline stations. There can be leaks from landfills or other waste disposal sites where toluene containing products start to leak the chemical. However, toluene is often introduced in its highest concentrations in indoor environments where there is excessive use of paint products, fingernail polish, glue, or any other product that contains toluene. In terms of environmental effects, toluene has a mild short-term toxicity on aquatic life given high concentrations. It has been shown to cause membrane damage to the leaves in plants, and it is very dangerous to humans if they are exposed in high concentrations. However, other than that, toluene by itself does not pose a major threat to the surrounding environment, right now or in the near future. Although it does have many dangerous effects to humans given high exposure, there does not seem to be any evidence of harmful effects to the surrounding environment, such as climate change, air or severe air or water pollution, or habitat destruction. Toluene does not seem to cause any substantial damage to the surrounding environment. Toluene is also very unlikely to bioaccumulate within an organism, so increased exposure will not specifically result in an increased effects. And in addition to a low bioaccumulation potential, biomagnification of toluene through the food chain is also very unlikely. Another thing about toluene is that it does not remain active in the environment for long, since it's often readily evaporable from surface soils and waters. The typical half-life for toluene is around 13 hours. Another thing to be aware of about toluene is that it has a very high volatility and is extremely prone to evaporate into the air from soil or water. However, toluene can be broken down in water below the surface primarily by anaerobic microorganisms. Toluene does not bind strongly to soil particles since it often easily evaporates, and photooxidation of toluene in the atmosphere takes place rather rapidly, primarily due to the reaction with hydroxyl radicals, which breaks down toluene. So far, humans are the species most affected by toluene, as they have the largest amount of direct contact with the substance due to the excessive use of toluene in households and in workplaces. Since we use products such as paint and gasoline and other products, we are often more exposed to toluene than other organisms who do not have as much direct access. And toluene often displays its effect on humans by causing serious neurologic damage and attacking the central nervous system.
Thanks again, Ray. There are many side effects to the exposure of toluene. Toluene enters the environment when materials that contain it are used. Its vapor is heavier than air that can cause asphyxiation in closed areas. Common symptoms of exposure include headache, dizziness, ataxia, drowsiness, euphoria, hallucinations, tremors, seizures, and a coma, ventricular arrhythmias, chemical pneumonitis, respiratory depression, nausea, vomiting, and electrolyte imbalances. It's mildly irritating to the mucous membrane, as well as contact with the skin in liquid form can cause your skin to defat. The toxic dosage for toluene is most likely 100 parts per million or above for humans, but has not been extensively studied for humans. However, it is different for other animals and can differ due to the method of exposure, such as inhalation, skin contact.
Thank you, Tasha. I'm here to talk to you today about the laws regarding the regulation of toluene. One important organization is called the Occupation Safety and Health Administration, and they regulate safety around workplaces. The OSHA Hazard Communication Standard enforces businesses and employers to communicate with their workers and provide hazard classification about dangerous chemicals in their work area. Enforced by the OSHA, chemical importers and manufacturers are demanded to examine the hazards and risks of Enforced by the OSHA, chemical importers and manufacturers are demanded to examine the hazards and risks of the chemicals they produce, such as toluene. Companies prepare labels and safety data sheets to emphasize hazard information to the potential customers. OSHA also imposes that employers warn and prepare their workers on how to handle the effects of the chemicals, including toluene, appropriately. Businesses are required to provide labels that have pictograms, alerting signal words, and additional hazardous statements. Precautionary statements are also mandatory. Proper ventilation is also required for customers and workers. Over in Europe, they have a regulation called the European Directive of 2005, and this says that toluene isn't allowed to be placed on the market or used as a substance of preparation and concentration equal to or higher than 0.1% by mass in adhesives and spray paints that are mainly sold in public stores. In addition to laws and regulations on toluene, companies have looked for alternatives for toluene. Cycloparaffinic, paraffinic, and aromatic fluids are used by companies as healthier and efficient substitutes for toluene. Cycloparaffinic and paraffinic solvents such as cyclohexane and solane are used as substitutes for toluene when it comes to dissolving compounds.